Valley Church of South Florida, watching here with us live from Plantation, Florida. We're excited to see all of you here this Sunday morning. We're going to start with a Joe Young original called Faith.
Here we go. I don't want to let this sun down. I don't want to say good night. I don't want a lipstick run around, one after the other surprise. I don't want to fall asleep. I don't want to stay awake. I don't want to keep on dreaming just to make the same mistake. Faith, won't you lead? Faith, don't you lead me down these winding streets, circling with no end. Faith, won't you leave? Faith, don't you leave me on the line again. Come on. I don't want to be so run down. I'm just about all out of fight. I don't want to take this greyhound just to tear apart my pride. I don't want to be knee deep. I don't want another heartache. I don't want to keep on dreaming just to make the same mistake. Faith, won't you lead? Faith, don't you lead me down these winding streets, circling with no end. Faith, won't you leave? Faith, don't you leave me on the line again. Hey. Come on, faith, won't you lead? Faith, don't you lead me down these winding streets, circling with no end. Faith, won't you leave? Faith, don't you leave me on the line again.
Awesome. This next one is called Sails.
Falling is easy, but staying in love is hard. Hard to be honest and keep our heart open, be who we truly are, without the excuses, without the facade. There's no pretending. Here in your love, oh Lord, set me
pray. Let's bow our heads and pray together. Our dearest beloved Heavenly Parent, our true parents, we want to greet you this morning. We want to know that we are being taken care of, that we are being protected by you, knowing that we are not in this journey alone, especially during these times of difficulty, where people might be feeling suffering, where people might be feeling uncertainty, where people might be feeling fear, anxiety, not knowing what is to come, being concerned about our families that might be distant or friends that might be far. But we know that during this time, we have you to hold on to, that we have the words of our true parents to hold on to, knowing that we are not alone. And we love you so much, and we're so thankful for you, that you are guiding us through this time, knowing that as long as we let our hearts open to you, that we can let you in and let you work and let you guide us through these times of trouble. We love you so much, and we want you to know that you are not alone either, and that we will be here for you too. I'd like to offer all these things in all of our names, near and far, and in the names of your and Lady Jovi's of blessed Santo Capo. Amen. Adieu. All right, thank you so much for joining us live. We are on YouTube. I know it took a little bit of time to get there, but a little bit of time goes a long way, especially with all that we want to share with you. Especially during these times of difficulty, we know that we are separated, but through our prayer, through our thoughts, through our love for each other, we are here together. We want to just share a little bit about some things that are going on. I know that right now it's a little difficult getting to church, obviously, but we're so glad that you're able to join us live stream. And we have our thoughts and our prayers going out for you, everyone here on our ministry team, and especially the people that are putting this together. We really want to send our love out to you wherever you are today, to your families, to your friends, and especially to our community and to our global community as well. Before we have our sermon with our Pastor Joe this morning, we just want to encourage you that if you feel inspired, that if you feel encouraged to give, that you can also go on to familychurchsf.org. That's familychurchsf.org, and you can give an offering there if you feel inspired, no matter how big or how small. Anything can really help to continue moving this forward, what we are doing here with our local church. So we thank you so much for all that you have been offering, all that you've been giving, especially just watching and tuning in with us. And so now we're going to bring up our Pastor Joe.
Thank you. Hi, guys. How are you? I hope you are enjoying the most comfortable church seat you've ever had on your couch or something like it. We are having a good time kind of reconfiguring our live stream capabilities. It's definitely a growing experience. I don't have much experience in that area, but willing to learn, and it's really great to have you and such a wonderful team. We have people, so many people in our ministry that are just tenacious and smart. And I'm thanking you guys for joining us. It really gives us such a lift knowing that you are staying connected regardless, through thick and through thin. So today I want to talk about resilience. It feels like the thing I really want to dig into in my own life and my own self at this time. And so usually what I'm feeling and going through, I find is something I would like to share with you guys as my family. I was thinking about a phrase, experience is something you get only right after you need it. And so I think that phrase is so true, right? When you need experience, you don't have it. And then after you're done with the ordeal, then you have experience, but it's over and it's too late. And so things work like that. I can definitely remember times in my life where, I wish I had known, but then afterwards I did. And I think resilience kind of works the same way. In times like these, we kind of think, we need resilience. We need to be tough. And then how am I going to get through this? Do I have what it takes to kind of weather this storm? What about my house and my job? And what about what if my city is not a good city to live in anymore? Or, so many questions running through a lot of our minds, But what I realize is, after we get through the ordeal together, we're going to look back at this and see, wow, how resilient we were. Wow, we had church anyway. And then I was thinking, I can't wait to hear all the stories about how many bags of rice and beans everybody bought, and how many weeks in a row we end up eating those rice and beans, and the hardships of not being able to return toilet paper at Costco, and all the stuff we're about to go through together, which I don't think is going to be, personally I'll share, I don't think it's going to be a long ordeal, but I think it'll be a little time, and we're going to look back at this time and say, yeah, we stuck together and we have some resilience in us. So what I want you to do now is take a moment to reflect, to think back on other times in your life. If you think about it, in your past, you've had other times when you probably thought you weren't going to make it. You probably thought you weren't going to be able to live there anymore, or you probably thought this job isn't working out, or this relationship isn't working out, or whatever it was. And I know that I relate to that feeling very much so. Had several occasions where I felt like it took everything I had to just get up the next day. And I would like you guys to take a moment to think back on your life. Are there times in your life where you felt that way, where this was it? And now fast forward the tape a little bit, but you're here, and you made it through that. And therein lies this proof that you have a resilience in you. And actually, you can even go further back. As I was thinking about this, I was thinking further back to my parents. Both of them working 1 or 2 jobs. And then further back, your ancestry. I have a great story. It's not so much resilience, but it's kind of interesting. My great-grandma had a ticket to be on the Titanic. And the person she was looking after, she was a nurse, an in-home nurse, and he begged her to stay. And so she finally gave in, and she was guided, I think, by God to not be on the Titanic. And I was thinking, wow, felt like a small decision, but it got her through. And I was thinking about all my ancestry kind of in that way today. I have people that were pilgrims of the United States, and what they went through. They built churches right away when they came here, and so many lost their lives in the first winter just after coming here. And so I just want to say this. If you're here, if you're watching this, you have resilience. You come from a whole line of resilience. Your fathers and mothers and everyone before have gone through this to get to this point. So it's in your blood. It's in your blood. It's in you to get up another day, to look toward the future. And I really felt encouragement when I was kind of praying on this, meditating on this. So I think right now we need that. And another thing I was thinking was, back in history, so many of the darkest times were the ones right before the brightest times. We know the saying, right? The darkness before dawn. It's the darkest before dawn. And there's a couple of Bible stories I just jumped out at me right away when I thought about that, which is, the Israelites wandering through the desert for 40 years, and then at the very end, instead of seeing promised land, well, they saw promised land, Canaan, but it didn't look like that to them. They got in there and they said, oh my goodness, there's giants. There's people who are going to slaughter us. I don't know if you recall the story. There's scouts, a team of scouts, and they go in to check it all out, and then they come back, and most of them are saying, this is terrible. This is going to wipe us out. Let's go back to Egypt and be slaves. That's how bad it looked. That's how bad it looked for them. And Joshua and Caleb stood out and said, we can take this. We can get through this. And they did. And it kind of reminds me of the news right now. You know, we have so many different scientists and doctors and news anchors and all these people looking at what seems to be the same situation, but giving us very different kind of reports, and we don't know what to make of it. But I'm choosing to have a stance of faith, that this is actually a transition time in the world. Maybe it could be even a good one. Maybe there's a dawn coming, if you think about it, right? I mean, I looked out my window yesterday, and I saw all these families hanging out together because no one's going to work. So it's like maybe people are reconnecting with their families. Maybe there's a reprioritizing in our lives happening right now. Another Bible story that pops into my mind that just kind of feels humorous to me is Jonah. You know, his story arc is so interesting because he doesn't want to listen to God. Then he finally listens to God, and he goes to Nineveh, and he preaches, and he turns the whole place around. They were supposed to be doom and gloom. You know, the prophecy was that they would be totally destroyed. But they turned it around because of him. But what's funny is if you look at the story, the darkest moment of that story, in my view, is the third day in the belly of a whale. I think if I had been in a whale for 3 days, I would have lost all hope. But amazingly, that was, you know, the incident right before what became kind of a miracle for those people of Nineveh. So I want to encourage us all to say, this could be part of our story. This could be part of a story arc that means something amazing is coming. And I truly do believe that. I think there might be a spiritual realignment happening. You know, as churchgoers and as a family, as brothers and sisters in the same family under God, we have another strength. We have another kind of, I would say, resource or strength that we can call upon, which is the source of not just me and myself and pick yourself up, but that of God. You know, I read these books, and there's like motivational books, and it's all about how to get focused or get tough and pick yourself up again. But I was thinking sometimes, you know, if you're the one on the ground, it's picking yourself up, it kind of seems oxymoronic. Actually, somebody above you needs to pick you up, you know, if you think about it. And that's God for us. God's hand grabbing onto him. We have that, and we also have each other. We have each other. So I was thinking about this. It's not just you, and you're not alone. You know, I was thinking about how we always talk about the strength of God, mighty God. He can do anything. But then actually the Bible says God is love. So it's one and the same. All the strength that you need in your life is just the essence of love. God is love. I love this quote. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. And another one, a few verses later in the same book of John, 1 John, perfect love casts out all fear. And so all the strength and all the grit and all the mightiness that we might need to call upon in our own personal soul and our life all comes from the wellspring of just God's love. That's it. It's love power more than willpower. I think when I think about this, I think maybe the real way of getting through times like these is not to be focusing on what am I going to do tomorrow or today, but who might I be able to help tomorrow or today? You know, the strength of giving to each other. We become channels for God's love to work in the world. If we're not willing to give, if we're not willing to love, if we're not willing to extend a hand, God's channels and vessels are kind of cut off. They become much harder for people to feel and reach God. You know, we're kind of designed to pick each other up. I call this heavenly timing, because I believe God, even in marriage, to be like this heavenly timing where one person's down but the other picks them up. and the other person might be down one day and the other one picks them up. And it doesn't always work like that. Sometimes both are up and both are down. But I really believe that God, when he's working in your life and your family life, he's creating heavenly timing. I don't think we're designed to feel yippee-yay perfect all the time. Actually, I think that's one of the drawbacks that people are pointing out about social media life and culture, which is, people want to post the yippee-yay and the fun and the awesome, and I like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's definitely not a reality, It's definitely not a picture of our real journey. And so you're not meant to experience just pure, goofy, Hollywood, big smile ecstasy all the time, every second of every day. Life is definitely a journey. And together, when you're going through it with people, you pick each other up at just the right time. Honestly, I feel like it was just the right time in my life to kind of accidentally move to Florida and find you guys and this community, and I feel like God led that timing in a way that I could have never thought of myself. So I just want to conclude with you. There's a few points here that I think can anchor us down and get us through all of this very quickly, very smoothly. One is, look at your history. Look at your history. What have you gone through already? And you go, oh yeah, that was one heck of a thing. I made it through that. God helped me get through that. He must be working with me. Second of all, look into the future. This is not the end of your story. There's another chapter coming. And is it possible that that chapter is way better than the last chapter? And I think it is. And thirdly, our strength will come from our bond together. The strength of channeling God's love to others. So for every time that you think about, oh shucks, another rice and beans, or my gosh, the line at the store is too long or something, for every time you think something like that, maybe we can throw in an extra little thought of, who would appreciate a phone call? Let me just check in on them. Something small like that can really do a lot to lift our spirits. So I'm praying for you all. I really have, as I reflect and pray about all this, I really have a feeling that we are going to get through and become stronger and more goal-oriented, more vision-oriented. We're going to be tighter as a family together. And so I just wanted to share with you where I'm at with all that. And, I really feel your spirit. I am feeling connected to you guys, and please reach out to me, reach out to each other, and I think we're going to be having one heck of a story. We'll look back on all this and laugh, don't you think? Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Pastor Joe. Usually after the service, we do leave time for a little bit of prayer, just so that you can start sharing your thoughts and your words with our Heavenly Parent, with our true parent. So we're just going to leave a couple minutes for that. All right, thank you guys so much for joining our live stream with the Family Church of South Florida. We hope you guys all stay safe, stay healthy. We're thinking of your families, and we hope to see you guys next week.
Come on. I don't wanna let this sun down. I don't wanna say goodnight. I don't want lipstick run around one after the other surprise. I don't wanna fall asleep. I don't wanna stay awake. I don't wanna keep on dreaming just to make the same mistakes. Faith, won't you leave? Faith, don't you leave me on these winding streets, circling in no end. Faith, won't you leave? Faith, don't you leave me on the line again. Yeah. I don't wanna be so run down. I'm just about all out of fight. I don't wanna take this greyhound just to tear apart my pride. I don't wanna be knee deep. I don't want another heartache. I don't wanna keep on dreaming just to make the same mistake. Faith, won't you lead? Faith, don't you lead me down these winding streets, circling with no end. Faith, won't you lead? Faith, don't you leave me on the line again. Oh. Faith, won't you leave? Faith, don't you leave me down these winding streets, circling with no end. Faith, won't you leave? Faith, don't you leave me on the line again.
Have a wonderful week, everyone.